This season, 7 players have been repeatedly disrespected, and stay tuned for a bonus name at the end that you genuinely can't ignore. At number 7, Nickolas Jackson. He scored in a Conference League final, lifted the Club World Cup, and still somehow became the internet's favorite target. Then he was sent out on loan to Bayern Munich. The move almost collapsed on deadline day because another striker picked up an injury and his parent club suddenly considered pulling him back. He had already arrived in Germany. His agent later described it as the most complicated transfer of his career. The deal was finalized in the final hours. 16 days later, Jackson lines up against his parent club in the Champions League. Bayern win 3-1. It sounds fictional, but the real disrespect. Bayern have a €65 million obligation to buy based on appearances, and a senior club figure publicly stated that Jackson would never hit the required number of matches. Not unlikely, not difficult, just never. His parent club has already signed a replacement. One side doesn't want him back, and the other is openly suggesting he won't play enough to stay. That's brutal. Number 6, Raphinha. This one is quieter, but just as telling. On paper, everything looks perfect. He had a world-class season, 13 goals and 9 assists in the Champions League, the most combined in the competition. He achieved his highest ever Ballon d'Or finish, yet he publicly admitted he was disappointed with his ranking and believed he deserved more recognition. Think about that, a player producing at that level having to defend his own value. Then the FIFA Best 11 in December 2025 rolls around, and he's edged out while the spotlight leans heavily toward his younger teammates. No outrage, because the narrative has already cast him as supporting cast. He delivers numbers, carries the team in key stretches, performs in huge matches, and still the conversation becomes about someone else's potential. The compliments always include a condition: great season, but that's how you describe a role player, not arguably your best performer. The fact that Raphinha had to publicly question his recognition says everything. Number 5, Federico Chiesa. His season can be summed up in one sequence. He scores in an away defeat. Shortly after, he's omitted from the traveling squad for a Champions League match. Just like that. It stings even more because he was only registered in the European squad late in the window, replacing an injured teammate. Every selection dilemma seems to end the same way. Chiesa is the one left out. When decisions are made, he's always the odd man out. The manager's comments don't exactly inspire confidence either. The tone around Chiesa feels administrative, not tactical. Never, how do we build around him? Instead, it's brief appearances and constant uncertainty. A player who has delivered at the highest international and club level is being treated like a scheduling inconvenience. Number 4, Eberechi Eze. He was signed and handed the number 10 shirt. That's symbolic. It says you're central to the project, yet the bench became a recurring theme. 1 week in February tells the story. The team drops points in a late collapse. Eze watches from the bench. A few days later, in a major derby away from home, he comes on and scores twice in a convincing win. 2 goals in a huge rivalry match. And yet, before the next fixture, the discussion isn't about building around him. It's, will the manager start him? After that performance, that debate shouldn't exist. The manager even acknowledged publicly that Eze was upset about being left out. Managers don't reveal that unless tensions are already visible. He produces when called upon, but the automatic trust that should come with the number 10 just isn't there. Number 3, Raheem Sterling. This one goes beyond tactics. Sterling was effectively sidelined before a loan move, sidelined again when he returned, and even a managerial change didn't alter his situation. When a new manager doesn't reset your standing, it's a clear sign the club has already moved on. Eventually, he left by mutual agreement. No grand farewell, no celebration of a career filled with major trophies. Just a quiet exit. Shortly after, he made his debut for a new club, trying to prove he still belongs. Compare that image to the player he was 5 years ago. The handling of the situation felt cold, and the phrase mutual agreement carried more weight in the wording than in reality. Number 2, James Trafford. He was brought back as a long-term solution, not as a backup project. Then in a big early season match, he tried to build from the back. Possession was lost, and the opposition scored directly from the sequence. Goalkeepers make mistakes. It's part of the job, but the reaction was ruthless. The manager defended him publicly, yet refused to guarantee his place for the next match. That contradiction says everything. Soon after, another elite goalkeeper was signed, and Trafford faded into the background. From future number 1 to forgotten option in a matter of months, international ambition suddenly uncertain. And at number 1, Ben Chilwell. When a new manager arrived, Chilwell was immediately excluded. No visible pathway back, no clear public explanation. He was loaned out, a former captain sent away. Later, he completed a permanent move to another club within the same ownership group. That's what elevates this to number 1. It felt less like a football decision and more like an organizational reshuffle. A player who wore the armband moved on without ceremony. No formal farewell, no acknowledgement. From captain to surplus almost overnight, the silence around it was louder than any statement. And finally, the bonus name, Vinicius Junior. Most players here face criticism from one direction. Vinicius faces it from every angle. Away fans mock his individual awards record. Racist chants follow him from stadium to stadium. He was substituted in one match and booed by sections of his own supporters. In another game, he was jeered when his name was announced before touching the ball. In a major European fixture, he reported a racist comment from an opposing player, leading to the match being paused. Later investigations followed. In the return leg, thousands of away fans booed him with every touch. No one on this list has endured more hostility off the pitch this season. 8 players, different circumstances, same theme, consistent disrespect. Now it's your turn. Which player do you think has been treated the worst this season, regardless of performance? Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.